Good day everyone, this is Maths with Tatanda. Let's try to solve this kind of problem here and see how we are going to work deal with it. Believe me, it is simple. Let's solve it. So we are having this problem as what? In the bracket, x plus 2 raised to the power of 4 is equals to what? Is equals to 16. And we are asked to find the value of x that will satisfy the problem. And let's try to solve it. Let's write the solution. Right? We are having it in this form, which is what? We have x plus 2 raised to the power of 4 is equals to what? 16. Right? Now, if you can check this right now, we can write it in this form as what? In bracket x plus 2 squared, then all square, right? It's done the same thing with this, right? Which is equals to 16 can be seen as what? 4 raised to the power of what? 2. Right? So now let's go. We can write this as what? From bracket x plus 2 squared all squared minus, when this one comes to the other side, it's called what? Minus 4 squared is equals to 0. Right? Now, we can still go by this or by writing what? This is different of 2 squares, right? Since we have different of 2 squares, don't forget that when we have different of 2 squares, we have a squared minus b squared, right, is equals to a plus b multiplied by what? A minus b, right? So, having this, we will apply it here, in which here we now be having, this is our a, this is our b, right? Now, we now be having, in bracket, x plus 2 squared plus what? Plus 4. Close the bracket. In the bracket, we have x plus 2 squared minus what? Minus 4. All equals to 0. Now, from here, we can open this bracket. Don't forget that when you have a plus b squared is something as what? A squared plus 2ab plus what? Plus b squared. So we are applying this to this problem here right now, in which we will now be having this bracket will now turn to what? X squared plus 4x, right? Plus 4. Plus this 4. That's plus what? Plus 4. This same bracket will also turn to what? X squared plus 4x plus 4 minus what? Minus 4. All equals to what? Equals to 0. So we are having this. Then we now have this here. So let's have it here. This now will now be having x squared plus 4x plus what? 4 plus 4, which is 8. So here will now be what? We have x squared plus 4x plus what? Plus 8. This is the bracket. And this other one, 4 plus 4 minus 4 is 0. So we will now be having x squared plus what? Plus 4x. X squared plus 4x. All equals to 0. So now from here, it's either this equals to 0 or this other bracket equals to 0. That's when we get 0, right? So which means we'll now be having our x squared plus 4x plus 8 is equals to 0, or x squared plus 4x is equals to 0. Now let's go. So now if you can check this one, it's nothing but what? They are quadratic. So let's try to solve this one quadratic with what? The formula in which we now be having, let's say we have x1, x2 is equals to minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac, right? All over 2a, right? So now, from this one we have our a is equals to 1, b is equals to 4, and what? C is equals to 8, right? So since we have this in our hands, so we can write our x1, x2 is equals to, what's our b? 4, right? Minus 4 plus or minus the root of, we have 4 squared minus 4, that's 1 times 8, which is 8, right? All over 2. 2 times 1, which is what? 2. So we have our x1, x2 is equals to minus 4, right? Plus or minus root of 4 squared is what? 16. Minus 4 times 8, which is what? Which is 32. We have 32 all over 2. So in which we have our x1 x2 is equals to minus 4 plus or minus root of 16 minus 32, which is minus 16 all over what? All over 2. Now, from here, we'll now be having our x1, x2 is equals to minus 4. We have plus or minus, we have root of minus 16. And don't forget that root of minus 16 is what? Root of negative. And whenever we have root of negative, we have root of negative 16, right? We can write it as what? Is equals to root of minus 1 multiplied by what? Root of 16. And root of 16 is 4, right? Which means we'll now be having, don't forget root I is the root, minus 1 is taken as I. We have I times what? Times 4. In which we'll now be having, this will now be what? Is equals to what? 4i. So now, here we'll now be having what? We'll now be what? 4i all over 2. Now, we are looking for the value of what? X1 and x2. So now, we'll now be having our x1, x2 will now be equals to, divide everything by 2, we have minus 2 plus or minus 2i. This is the value of what? X1 and x2. But don't forget, we still have another equation here to solve, which we have x squared plus 4x is equals to 0. Then here will now be x plus 4 equals to 0. So x equals to 0, or x plus 4 is equals to 0, right? So which means x is equals to 0, or x is equals to minus 4, right? So now, the value of x that will satisfy the problem is what? X1, this is x2, x3, and what? X4, right? We have our x1, which is equals to what? Is equals to minus 2 plus 2i, and our x2 is equals to minus 2 plus minus what? 2i, and what? Our x3 is equals to 0, and our x4 is equals to what? Minus 4. So that is the value of x that will satisfy the problem. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share for others to learn. Thank you.